Was a canon. Sounds like Mary hung out with the devil. Yeah, or at least she made sure to become bedfellows with him if that's the case. London Bridge is next, folks. London Bridge is falling down. Falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Not to be confused with the most underrated Fergie song ever. The London Bridge lyrics have many horrific theoretical meanings behind them. Some suggest it has to do with child sacrifice. Their bodies needed to be inserted into the foundation of the bridge to prevent it from falling. But a more commonly supported origin is that it was inspired by a devastating Viking attack in the early thousands. Oh. Well, either way, that's still horrible. Here's Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. You'd think that this one would be pretty straightforward, but a small town in England claimed that this was about a real couple in the late 1600s who used to sneak up to the top of the hill for some adulterous activities. Apparently, fetch a pail of water is some creepy euphemism. Then, as quick as the nursery rhyme itself is, the relationship implodes with Jill getting pregnant, Jack smashing his head open with a rock, and then Jill dying from childbirth. How romantic. Jeez. There you go. Yeah, it does sound like that. That's certainly not nearly as creepy. Although I always thought I always thought it was terrible. So Jack fell down and broke his crown, so he's got his head smashed with a rock. I don't know if it was by falling or if he just, I can't live, I'm going to smash my head kind of thing, or how that worked. But then Jill came tumbling after, meaning she died during childbirth. So that's a pretty macabre tale. Yuck. So we got that going for us. All right, let's go to Georgie Porgy. Georgie Porgy, pudding and pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. When the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgy ran away. Maybe you used to taunt anyone in the playground named Georgie with this rhyme, but you probably weren't aware at the time that it allegedly refers to a passionate gay sex affair involving European royalty. George Villiers was a duke attempting to climb up the social ladder and supposedly dumped Anne of Austria, kissed the girls and made them cry, to pursue King James I. Parliament hated the relationship and forced it to end. An instruction George emotionlessly followed without a fuss, despite being so close with the king. When the boys came out to play, Georgie Porgy ran away. Yeah, that's kind of a mocking thing, isn't it? Wow. Humpty Dumpty is here, ladies and gentlemen. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. There are two common theories behind the origins of Humpty Dumpty, neither of which include eggs. It refers to a type of cannon used in the English Civil War that would consistently shatter when lit, or it was the type of brandy that would cause the drinker to have a great fall when drunk. Neither are particularly appropriate for small children to be singing about. Huh, I didn't know that. What didn't Brent notice? What happened? The stream even started over and I got another notification. What? Is there a problem? Hi, Lanita. Good to see ya. Lanita Bryant is in here. Good to see ya. Thanks for coming in. I had to close YouTube to get back in just now. Huh. I don't know. They tried to keep us out of the portal. Welcome back, all. Wow. No, I didn't know this. Wow. Sorry, guys. Had no idea. I had no idea that things... Did I stop the stream? No. Sounds like there was problems. Like there were problems. I have no idea what's going on. Okay. Good now? Okay, good. According to Amy, let me know if anybody out there is hearing this. I don't know where you guys are at, if it all started over or if you're back with me now in real time. But If there's anything else going on, was buffering and then bam, gone. Huh. Wow. I don't know. I have no idea. It didn't give me any notifications. Everything looks solid. My connection speed is in the green, according to my streaming software. I don't know. Let me just look at this. I got to look at it because I can't have problems like this. Oh, no kidding. So did it start a second stream? Because it does look like it got closed out on YouTube for some reason. It's a new stream. Huh. I have no idea why. No idea. We're still doing the nursery rhymes. Did you guys catch all of those? How long has this been going on? I had no notification here that this happened. So I apologize, everybody. I hope you're all with me now. Jeff Curry, there's a nursery rhyme in there. But are you all back? Is that what you're telling me? Is anybody still? Well, I guess if you're still having problems, you couldn't tell me. I remember you from Big Tex. Well, thanks, Lenita. I'm glad you came in. I'm really thrilled you're here. Welcome to the portal where things always get strange. It buffered for a few. We could chat, and then refreshed it, and it started new. Maybe 4 minutes, huh? Yeah, I mean, it's dead. My back end of YouTube is dead, but I'm glad that it's still going on. I don't know what the hell is up, to be honest with you, but I still see the chat here. I don't know what's going on, though. Had to close out. Seems good now. Ghost in the Machine. Yeah, okay. All right, well, I apologize. Did you guys hear about Humpty Dumpty, or where did you... Have you heard all of it now? Yeah, that's frustrating. Anything on Rumble? No, Barbara says it's all good here. Oh, Rumble. Did you have trouble in Rumble as well? I'm just curious. Let me know if you would. Is this one up? I don't know. I can't see for sure. And my Rumble, like if I try to watch it, it's always way, way, way behind. Like I'll close out the show, and my stream that is open to Rumble will be still on the news, even though it's been like hours since then or more. So I heard 3 nursery rhymes, Nathan from the Quantum Show says. Little bit, but came back soon. Okay, so it didn't start another stream, just continued. I'm just looking for clarification here. You didn't hear Humpty. Okay, well, I'll repeat the Humpty Dumpty one then. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's the portal. There's always weird stuff. I'll just redo the Humpty Dumpty one. Amy Creel, it was really a cannon on top of the tower in the English Civil War that fell, and they couldn't put it back. Oh, okay. That's a different version than what's here, but I'll read it for you guys. But I like that version better. That makes much more sense. Sorry, I'm just a little froggy. All right, well, we'll start with Humpty Dumpty. Again, I did read it once, but maybe it's not. From what I can gather, it wasn't as long as YouTube. Okay, thank you, Barbara. And as long as it didn't start another stream, like on YouTube now, those will be split. Yeah, so unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it, but that just irritates the hell out of me. Ay. All right, I'm going to go back to the article here. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. There were 2 common theories behind the origins of Humpty Dumpty, neither of which included eggs. It referred to a type of cannon used in the English Civil War that would consistently shatter when it was lit, or it was a type of brandy that would cause the drinker to have a great fall when drunk. Neither are particularly appropriate for small children to be singing about. However, it doesn't talk about sat on a wall or had a great fall. So I tell them, my daughter left a top shelf bottle of vodka here. I told her something happened. It's empty. My Bloody Mary mix is gone too. And she said that is a real mystery. Yeah, I wonder where that went. Might be paranormal. Or just really normal. Could be. All right, number 9, Pop Goes the Weasel. All around the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel. The monkey thought 'twas all in good sports, Pop goes the weasel. A penny for a spool of thread, a penny for a needle. That's the way the money goes, Pop goes the weasel. What a joyful commemoration of England's poverty. Pop goes the weasel is a saying made up of Cockney slang to mean something along the lines of pawning a suit. Essentially, what the song is implying is that when a poor man needed to dress up for Sunday, he would pawn his suit earlier in the week for extra cash and then take it back temporarily on Sunday morning for church. Wow, that's pretty rough. Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. One for the master, one for the dame, one for the little boy who lives down the lane. Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. There's been some debate about the racial message at the center of this nursery rhyme. A couple elementary schools in 2011 replaced the lyrics with Baba Rainbow Sheep. I'll bet you did. But most scholars agree that the rhyme has to do with the great custom tax on wool from 1275. Well, there you go. Okay. Well, there you go. That was 10 of them. I hope you guys found those neat or interesting. All these rhymes come from over there. I don't know, this one, I guess if it was 1275, that would be from back in the old country as well. Yeah, I don't think there was a whole lot going on here as far as people are concerned, but you never know. All right. Well, there you have it. I thought that was kind of an interesting departure from the norm here on the show. Just something different that we've never really talked about. I thought it was pretty cool, but maybe it's just me. I hope you guys thought it was cool too. It's already 8:11. Hey, Jaron, good to see you from Supernatural Station Podcast. Great to see you coming in. Good to see you. All right, we're going to go to, I don't even know how we're doing now on the show. I know that we were up to 70-some people watching before the crash, but I don't know if we retained them or if they just went, oh, that broke. I'm going to go check out something else. That's the problem. I don't know. Maybe YouTube just doesn't like me. I don't know. Could be. So much for me hooking tonight. What? Oh, that's a crochet thing, right? Okay. I hope. Really cool. Didn't know some of them. Yeah, I thought it was kind of neat. Different is good. I thought it was interesting. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. I don't know. Just to throw something different into the mix because, you know, we've kind of cycled through, well, ghosts, UFOs, strange phenomena, and cryptids. And then that's like the wash every night. So I thought, well, this would be kind of different and interesting and unusual. Crocheting. Okay, good. It was Wes. His show came up. What do you mean, John Temperate? Wes's show came up? I don't know what that means. Sorry, I just caught whatever it was. All right. Like started over on my end too. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was all about. So you mean the stream actually started over from the beginning and then played and was available all the way up to current? I don't know. I'll have to look at it. Got to make the money. Absolutely. They rocked the baby right out of that old tree. They sure did, Lenita. They sure did. All right, so we're going to get into a strange phenomena story, and this is going right to phantomsandmonsters.com, our good friend Mr. Lon Strickler, who streamed earlier tonight talking about the winged humanoids, the Mothman type of phenomena, and told a couple of amazing stories. But this is his site. This is phantomsandmonsters.com. And Lon does a lot of cryptid stuff for sure, but he does a lot of other stuff too. He does a lot of spirits, ghosts. He does a lot of strange phenomena and etc. And this is one of those. This is one of the strange phenomena ones. So I'm reading it before we jump into the cryptids because, well, I think it's interesting. And this one's kind of cool because it kind of has a historical precedence. And I've not heard of one of these time slips happening in this location before. So let's check it out. I don't think I have. Maybe I have, but I don't recall right offhand. But here we go. We're getting into this now. This is Bizarre time slip experienced in Boot Hill Graveyard, Tombstone, Arizona. So Boot Hill, of course, is the famous cemetery right near Tombstone where a lot of people were buried. And, obviously Tombstone was a pretty rough town. And then again, mortality rates back then were pretty high anyway. Like, it was tough to live long and late into life back in those days. It was double tough. The medical knowledge was very, very rudimentary. And the solution to a lot of things was just to grab a saw and start cutting. And that's terrifying. But anyway, the submitter experienced a bizarre time slip while visiting the Boot Hill Graveyard in Tombstone, Arizona. This same event occurred again after retracing his steps. Says, hi. Lon says, I received the following account. Hi, I've been an animator, screenwriter, and experiencer of strange things all my life. Ghost mainly, I see a lot of OBE stuff, out-of-body experience, I guess. Since I was in the crib, some visions of the future, but this stuck out. Well, this was in Boot Hill Graveyard in Tombstone, Arizona, March of 2008. Overcast afternoon. While I was wandering around, I found myself about to walk between two new, possibly prop gravestones. And as I took a step, it was akin to my flesh crawling, like a bubbling sensation all over my body. In my vision, mainly in my mind's eye, the skies were brilliantly blue, and standing nearby were three men in dusters, hats, canvas, and black. The sensation, the imagery, all of it vanished as I took the next step. Shaken but curious, I retraced my steps and wandered all around the graveyard until I walked through it again. And the same thing occurred. The bubbly feeling throughout my body, blue skies, guys in dusters. It wasn't electrical, the sensation. I've been shocked before. And this wasn't it. It was more of a molecular rippling, bubbly. Nothing harsh or jolting, more like stepping into a warm waterfall, but from the ground up. Which all vanished with the next step, mind you. And it left me with a conundrum. If I stopped walking, would I have vanished? And if so, when? 1880s? 1960s? If these were actors for the tourists, if I did vanish, how would I have communicated to the future where I was? Well, anyway, been occasionally dipping into time slips in that cemetery and haven't seen any. Perhaps this was the first. Well, there you go. I don't know. And there's not a comment from Lon, but I mean, there's not much to say. It's just, these phenomena are very strange because I don't know. They just happen when they happen, where they happen. It doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason for it. There's a famous place in Liverpool, England, an alleyway. Well, it's got stores and stuff in it, but it's kind of a back street in Liverpool where many people have experienced a time slip, slipping back into like the 50s or something like that. Like the storefronts all change instantly. The dress of the people there change instantly. And there's stores there that they don't recognize, and then they'll just it'll reset for some reason. Sometimes it's people kind of like taking a couple steps backwards and then boom, they're back in the normal time or whatever. But time slips are fascinating to me because in this case, the guy talks about it being in his mind's eye. And that's an interesting take because a lot of times people don't know it's their mind's eye. They don't know that it's not really happening right there in front of them. It's like a real thing. So I'm not sure if this person experienced a true time slip or if they just experienced a time echo or memory or maybe a quick link to another time. I don't know if it was truly a time slip or just some bubble. Very, very strange. It's like energy as a huge roadmap with grids, and we all just kind of pop into them every once in a while, old or new. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair enough estimation of what time slip would be. Yeah, it's just people suddenly finding themselves. Like there's There's a battleground, an ancient battleground in England. I think it's up near Salisbury, where some people, or at least one person, was there with his fiance or wife, and they just kind of stepped between these two old dolmens towards this grassy field. And as they stepped almost through it, they looked out, and there was an army of, I don't know, Dark Ages soldiers riding by. And the army seemed to look and see them. And then they're like, whoa, and they took a step back, and then it was back to normal. But it was like they were observed as well as observing. So it seems like a linking of timelines somehow. So I've been to Tombstone, Boot Hill. Okay, Pancho. And I don't know. I don't know if this is something everybody would experience or if it was just something that he was in the right place at the right time, maybe the right biological makeup or any number of things to trigger this event for him. But it would be interesting to experience, to just, what if you did stop? Would you get stuck? Do those things open and close, or do they just remain open for a period of time? Could you just take a step forward again and come clear of it, or backwards or whatever? Again, a lot of times people retrace their steps, like, whoa, they get this shock and then they're like backing up and boom, suddenly everything's normal again when people are having these time slips. So, and again, it's a phenomenon. I don't know what to do with it, but it's fascinating. So anyway, that's a pretty incredible story. And that's just to wrap up a little part here. I want to get to the cryptid corner because, by God, it's got to be time. So let's get to the cryptids. I got a couple of Dogman stories right off the bat here, and then we might get to a Skinwalker story. We'll see. But these are also from phantomsandmonsters.com, which is Lon's site. So please support this site. I mean, Lon does incredibly well. An incredible job. So all I can do is just, he's given our blessing to use his site, and by God, I'm going to do everything I can to promote what he's doing because, Lon's pretty amazing. All right, let's get to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Cryptid Corner. It's time to dig into this, and we're going to start right here. All right, I used the promo image, the AI image of the dog man looking over a campsite, not because that was particular to any story we're going to cover, because, again, I don't pre-read any of this stuff or very little of it before the shows. I read it with you because I like reacting to this stuff in real time with you guys. So I swear to you on everything I love that I don't pre-read these stories. And this one just happened to be a Dogman one. So I was like, oh, we should do Dogman. Dogman right off the bat, because we don't do a lot of these. They don't come up that much, honestly. But Phantoms and Monsters has a whole bunch of them. So there's lots to check out over there. Tall, black, upright cryptid canine seen twice at New Haven County, Connecticut residence. There's Connecticut again. Connecticut's just jumping all over the place for us tonight. That's kind of weird, isn't it? It's the second Connecticut story. Huh. Wow. Well, first was the news, and now again. Serendipity? Does that mean something? I don't know. I guess the ghost radar's picked up a couple things tonight. I was just thinking it's been real silent. But let's get to this one and see what the hell's going on. I like my render better, Lon. This one looks kind of cute, kind of snuggly. No, I'm just kidding. It would still terrify the hell out of me. All right, let's see what this is. A Connecticut youth recalls seeing a tall, black, upright cryptid canine with a wolf's head standing in the woods near his house. The bright yellow eyes were visible from the woods. The following account was forwarded to me. This happened in Connecticut, about 30 minutes north of New Haven County, in the year 2008. I actually saw this thing twice. The first time I saw it was at night. For context, when I was little, I used to always stare out the window at night that faced a wooded grove that was about 100 yards away. from the house and fell asleep staring out the window due to how peaceful the night was in the woods. So one night when I was about 9 years old, I was staring out the window when suddenly I noticed 2 yellow eyes in the woods. Well, at first I was confused, thinking that a car was somehow in a tree. But as I stared more at the yellow lights disappeared and then reappeared in the same spot, almost like blinking eyes. As my groggy brain took a closer look at the lights, I started noticing other large things like how the tree these lights were showing up in was a little thicker than I remembered, and how there was a giant wolf's head in the tree, and that the yellow lights aligned with the head to be like its eyes. And this is when I was getting nervous. I bumped my head on the window accidentally as I was backing away. Well, as soon as my head hit the window, the wolf's head turned suddenly towards my window, and the rest of the creature's body emerged from behind the tree. The body was hard to see at first because it was jet black and perfectly blended into the shadows, but now it was stepping out into the moonlight, and I was freaking out because this wolf was on 2 legs, and the top of the wolf's head was a good 10 feet off the ground. The wolf stayed in the tree line but was still very much visible from my window, and I could tell that it knew exactly where I was, even though there were no lights on outside for it to see me with. Well, by this point, I'd seen more than enough, so I quickly slammed the curtain shut and hid under my covers that whole night, waiting to hear it clawing at the window to get me. Well, fortunately, this didn't happen, and I stayed buried under the covers until my alarm clock went off the next morning. I never told anyone about it because although I saw it myself, I still couldn't believe that it had happened. The second encounter happened 12 years later during a 4th of July celebration. Me and my dad were setting off fireworks in the backyard to celebrate, and when we were done with the fireworks show, as my dad and I were picking up for the night, I saw the same pitch black wolf head peeking out from behind the shed with the same glowing yellow eyes. The head was absolutely massive. It was every bit the size of a 3-foot wide window on the side of the house. When it saw me staring at it, it quickly ducked its head back behind the shed. I told my dad that there was a big black dog back there, and he chalked it up to just being coyotes. Well, if it was a coyote, then how did it manage to stand on 2 feet, and how did its face take up the entirety of a 3-foot window? I don't know for sure what I saw, but it matches descriptions that I had been given for Dogman by other supposed witnesses. So until I see otherwise, I'm going to say that what I saw was a Dogman. It was terrifying to see both times, and I never again want to see it or anything like it. Now that's creepy. I guess it must be a residential thing. It must be just hanging out in that area. That might be its turf. I don't know. Huh. That's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy stuff. But that's the first of our Dogman stories. The next one is coming out of Florida. Cryptid canine sightings by two Florida brothers at different locations. And this one's from November 29th, so it's pretty recent. But let's check it out and see what it says. About a decade ago, I received a narrative from a reader who forwarded a werewolf incident in and around Sarasota, Florida. The account included the following statement. I was coming home, and as I got close to the tracks, there was this huge thing lying in the road. I thought it must have been a Mastiff or a Great Dane in the road, but as I pulled up to it, it didn't look like a dog that I'd ever seen. It was hairy. Its head and nose were twice the size of a dog. The body wasn't a dog, just dog-like, but much, much bigger. It was all over the place. And there was an arm on the road. Not dog, a human arm. So I guess that means it was part of the creature, right? Is what the way I'm reading that. Like it looked like a human arm with this dog-like head and weird body. Well, anyway, unless it just had a severed human arm in its mouth. I don't know what that means for sure. In today's report, I received the descriptions of 2 cryptid canine sightings by 2 people at 2 locations in Florida. Both of the witnesses were brothers. Tell me what you think. In the summer of 2018, my oldest son and his wife were traveling from Daytona Beach on Highway 100 towards Ocala, and they were driving a work van with trailer going about 60 miles per hour around 12 midnight. There were no lights on the road, but their headlights illuminated a creature standing on the side of the road looking across towards the other side of the road. And as they were approaching, it never looked into the headlights, but kept staring across the road. The description was a bipedal wolf-like creature that appeared to be predominantly bare-skinned, although there was hair on some parts of the body. They described the face as evil with visible teeth. It was very tall. My son stated it was every bit as tall as the van he was driving, and they continued on their way, praying that they would not break down. My youngest son was driving home along the same route he did every night, and this was in Polk County, Florida, and it was about 1:30 a.m. On consecutive nights while traveling on the same stretch of road, a wolf-like creature ran in front of his car on all fours. It was huge. Its back was 4 foot from the ground and had a large, well-developed muscular chest which tapered dramatically towards abdomen and flanks, and it also had a large, bushy tail. Have there been similar reports anywhere in Florida? And several years ago, I had an additional large wolf report northeast of Clearwater, Florida, along with other less descriptive sightings. Are these actual wolves, large coyotes, or what? And that was by Lon. Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy, crazy stuff. And again, the one that's on all fours could be some form of wolf or hybrid. Like, again, the hybrid wolves, the ones that are crossbred with dogs, tend to be bigger than the actual wolves themselves in most cases. Although there's that video of that black wolf that the guy's dog keeps going after. That's kind of laying down looking helpless in the woods until it gets up and starts sprinting after the dog. It's like, oh, that's huge. And that thing was huge. Now, wolves do get huge. They really do. But a lot of times the crossbreeds or the hybrid wolves, which are crossed with domesticated canines, tend to be really big animals. So I don't know. It's anybody's guess. But that's the second cryptid canine story of the night. I think it's pretty good. Dire wolf. Yeah, there's the dire. That thing did look like a dire wolf in that video. I think. Do you know the one I'm talking about, John? Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty creepy. It's, wolves are incredibly, incredibly smart. They're incredibly crafty, and they're very good at what they do. All right, well, that's that one. Let's go to this one. This is from November 26, 2024, from Phantoms and Monsters. And this one is marked by a skinwalker. 2 weird incidents, alarm experiencer. Okay. Oh, thank you, Aussie. Thank you for remembering, brother. I appreciate it. And Aussie, I think your shirt should be on the way. I've been trying to keep an eye on it, and they've started sending orders again, so hopefully it'll be on the way. Again, there's nothing I can do about it, but I just want you to know that I'm keeping tabs on it. So this is marked by a skinwalker, 2 weird incidents, alarm experiencer. Let's see what it says. The witness has 2 weird experiences near the same location at different times. After asking friends what they thought about the incidents, they all stated the witness was marked by a skinwalker. I received the following account. Both these incidents happened in New Mexico in roughly the same place. Driving from Belen to Mountain Air, there's a long, almost an hour straight, flat road called Becker Flats. Becker Flats has kind of a local reputation for weird occurrences. Drug smugglers land planes on the highway there, strange animals are spotted, UFOs, and there's a ranch called Mountain Shadows off the flats that has a lot of rumors about it that I'm sure are not true, just your basic satanic panic BS. But anyway, still in 1990, hold on. I was driving across Becker Flats at about 9 p.m. and an ant the size of a shoebox ran out onto the road. Oh, God, that's got to be a nightmare. I just think about bugs. Big bugs freak the hell out of me. That idea is just so freaky. It was clearly an ant. It had 6 legs, 3 body sections, and antennae. It was about 20 inches long, and I was going about 70 miles per hour with the high beams on it. It stops when the light hit it, and I didn't have time to swerve. Both front and rear tires hit it, and the car lifted up, rather than crushing it, making a tremendous noise like I'd gone over a speed bump at 70 miles per hour. It scared the crap out of me. Another time, several months later, I was in about the same place, but right after sunset, about 7 o'clock. The spot where this occurred was at least still a 30-minute drive from my destination, Mountain Air, where I lived. I passed a guy walking on the side of the highway in the same direction that I was going. It was so unusual to see a pedestrian that I slowed down to get a good look at him. He was Native American, most likely a Navajo, with long hair in a bun, a red bandana tied around his forehead like a sweatband, wearing jeans, a blue t-shirt, and an old army field jacket, just OD green with no camouflage pattern, like the Vietnam era, with lighter sections on the sleeves where there clearly used to be 3 stripes, like a sergeant. He was wearing black pointy-toed cowboy boots and a silver concho belt. I thought, that's odd. And I kept driving. When I got to town half an hour later, I passed the Mountain Air Cantina on the main drag, and the same guy was pulling open the door to walk inside. The speed limit on the drag is 30, so I was going very slowly and couldn't get a good look at him. Exact same bandana, belt, boots, and jacket. Well, as I crept past, he turned and looked right into my eyes and held the gaze until I was gone. No other cars passed me on the way to town. And even if he had hitchhiked a ride, after I saw him on the flats, there was no way he could have gotten there first unless he was in a plane. Well, I told some friends about it in case they knew the guy, and they said I should be careful for a while, as I had been marked by a skinwalker. Well, I thought that was BS, but asked a couple other guys I knew who were Navajo and Zuni about the guy and told them what I saw, and they said the same thing. Except they also said to never mention it again. So here he is submitting it to a international publication. That's awesome. Well, good for him. I think God, that would be horrifying. That would be horrifying stuff. Yikes. Crazy, creepy stuff. But there you have it. All right. What are we doing for time here? Oh, we got plenty of time. We're good. Because I got a couple more. This is a crawler humanoid. And I don't like these things. I really don't. I don't know what it is about these things, but they just creep the hell out of me. Again, people see them and they look like they're just very emaciated. But they're allegedly have extraordinarily long hands and arms. And their hands end in like these sharp nails, or at least some kind of nails. But apparently they are exceptionally strong, like much stronger than we are, even though they look like they're so frail. Again, I'll say it again. I think these are what used to be explained as ghouls. But I don't know. I think that they call them crawlers, they call them rakes. There's any number of names that are usually attributed to these things, but I think it's just a rebranding of a very old phenomena. But I think they're out there, and I think I would literally poop myself if I saw one of these. And I don't know what it is about them, but something is horrendously creepy to me about them. Really creepy. I get a real visceral reaction from these. I don't know what it is. Now, I've not seen one. I'm just going on record and say I've not seen this, but I really don't want to. I really don't want to see one of these. All right, but let's check out the story. It says, that night, I woke up at 3 a.m. to the feeling of something watching me. I felt extremely uneasy. I rolled over to look around the room, and my eyes locked onto something standing beside my mom. Oh, that's even the worst version, where they're actually in your house. And these come up from time to time. I don't know if they're actually a physical creature, or if they're something else, maybe something looking like a pale crawler, if they're spiritual, if they're potentially extraterrestrial. Hell, I don't know. But creepy stuff. Let's see what it says. I received the following account. I imagine a pale crawler grabbing you and sticking its bony long fingers in your mouth or anywhere in your face and tearing into you. Yeah, that's kind of the way I picture it too. I think it'd probably be a pretty horrible way to go. But I don't ever want something to like tear me apart and then chew on me later. I don't want to be on the food chain as part of my life experience. That's not how I envision this. Hopefully that remains true. My house has always been creepy. Growing up, I've had unexplained experiences starting from the time I was 4 and really never stopping. I live in rural Kentucky, one of those towns that solely rely on coal and is 5 years behind the rest of the world. In general, the whole town is still covered in thick woods that appear to not have been tampered with in 100 years, or hundreds of years. My house is placed right in the middle of the mountains, surrounded by an extreme amount of woods, and even a couple of ponds, and that gives you the setting for my home. Well, this is where the real story begins. Growing up, I was never allowed to watch shows such as Ghost Hunters or even movies. Hold on. I gotta get a drink. Sorry. Even movies such as The Exorcist in my house because of the weird activity that goes on there. There we go. I'd experienced it from an extremely young age, and my mom, who's lived in this house her whole life, had also. However, one night my family made an exception and we all watched a documentary about Waverly Hills together. Well, at that age, I still slept in the room with my mom due to me being afraid of sleeping in this house. Well, that night I woke up at 3 a.m. to the feeling of something watching me. I felt extremely uneasy. I rolled over to look around the room, and my eyes locked onto something standing beside my mom. It was extremely tall, but looked as if it had a broken back and couldn't stand up completely. It was slouched over and had extremely pale skin, and bones sticking out from under the skin everywhere due to how skinny it was. It had long claws hanging from both hands. Its face was sunken in, and its eyes were completely black holes. A few greasy hairs were visible on its head. It had no clothes or private parts. Well, I was horrified. I rolled over and covered myself up head to toe with the covers. I refused to move or look out for the rest of the night, even though I was fully awake. Well, eventually my mom woke up that morning, and she immediately started complaining of her side hurting. Well, she raised her skirt to look and found huge claw marks down her side. It was 3 deep wounds that were extremely inflamed and still bleeding. I felt horrible knowing that thing did that to her while I lay beside her hiding. A couple of months later, I saw the creature again, although not as horrible as the first experience. I woke up to the creature slouched on the floor on my side of the bed. It was watching me sleep. I covered up again immediately, but this time got the courage to peek out and found it still looking at me. I'm not sure when it went away because I just didn't dare look again. I got chills and my hair stood on end before even seeing it the first time. I had the feeling of complete evil from it. And I'm 18 now and obviously sleep in my own room. However, I still live in the same house. My mom still sleeps in the room where I witnessed this creature. Almost nightly, she has nightmares about something watching her. She has nightmares about something hiding in the paintings on her walls, or something coming from the ceiling in her room while she sleeps. There's a specific corner of the room where almost every dream seems to originate. Our cats refuse to stay in that room if the door is shut. If anyone has any information about any folklore this could relate to, please tell me. I'm desperate for any information about what I've seen. I've had countless other experiences in this house, but those are the major ones. Then we got a note from Lon here at the end. The description of the being is similar to that of a crawler humanoid. Some people believe that these beings are thought forms or servitors, similar to the Slender Man meme, while others believe it to be a demonic entity. And I've had a few of similar reports over the years. It is not uncommon for these manifestations to initiate physical harm. Yeah, servitor again is like a curse, a living curse. So it's usually created by generally some dark magic practitioners, but it's basically like a conscious spell. So it could be like that. I don't know what the mom's history is, or if there's someone that has a lot of angst or anger towards that person and just decided, well, I'm going to use my abilities and create something that will torment them. And if it is a servitor, yeah, that is what it could be. It could just be an egregore or any number of things, but it could be just some other type of spiritual being. Again, not all spirits are all, formerly people. That is certainly one aspect that could be the case, but I think there's a lot of things people experience as ghostly beings that were never human. And this sounds like it could be that, but a servitor is a possibility. Yeah, I mean, certainly that would merit the description of being this emaciated, terrifying-looking thing. Because I don't think a conscious dark spell would look real good. So I'm pretty sure the appearance is probably exceptionally horrible. But yeah, that's creepy stuff. That is I think Lon saying servitor is like the second time I've ever seen that term used outside of when I learned about it as I was looking into thought form creations. Because it's more of an esoteric occult thing. And by occult, I just mean not really. It's like hidden knowledge is occult. It's not necessarily dark knowledge, but it's, often used that way. When you hear the occult, it's just like, oh, devil worship and horrible things. But a lot of times occult practices are benign or even benevolent, but they just don't share their entire recipe book online. So that's interesting. Very interesting stuff. So got to hand it to Lon. What's creepier for a creature to step through into your room? A glowing portal, no portal, just steps through the wall, or the wall opening like a door, the creature walking through, closing up behind. I think it's creepier just if it walks through a wall, or emerges from a shadow, and then the shadow starts moving and then it becomes a creature. If a portal opens, then it's like, well, it needs a doorway. But if it just kind of emerges, it doesn't seem like it needs a doorway, or at least what we would identify as a doorway. So for me, if I'm wagering my opinion on this, Rachel, it's definitely if it just crawls out of the shadows or just kind of peels out of the wall and it's just there. It's like, oh God. Then it just seems like something. Amazon called, they want their ant back. I'm telling you, a 12-inch or a 20-inch ant to me would be horrifying, because where are the other ones? They're not usually alone. Now, interestingly enough, that does remind me that I wanted to comment a little on that story, in that ants are blind. Ants don't have a power of sight. They have these eyes. They're usually very underdeveloped. They might be able to detect light or dark, and that's about it. But they're not like a really refined vision like a dragonfly or something would have. And so, that's why they have the feelers to look for their pheromone scent trails, and they just follow it with their feelers. So I was kind of surprised when it said that when the light hit it, it kind of turned and then it ran over it. So now, is it actually a bug? Maybe not. Maybe it is a skinwalker, as was suggested. It's creepy as hell, though. Again, because, the thing I think that bugs me the most about like giant-sized bugs is just knowing how little bugs act. Like, little bugs don't care. They don't care. I mean, a little dinky mosquito will look at you like lunch. I mean, that's what mosquitoes think of us. It's like, oh, the blood bags are here, and let's go harvest and lay some eggs. And like ants, they just see something, they kind of swarm and they tear it apart. I mean, it's just brutal. Insects are brutal. Look at praying mantises; those things are creepy as hell. And some of those actually eat hummingbirds, which is like, to me, is like, ooh, that doesn't seem right at all. But it's terrifying. So I don't know. Good choice, Brent. What was my good choice? Oh yeah, the wall thing. Yeah, that for me is way creepier than some portal opening. Because at least it's, if it requires an opening to come in, well, that's separate. But if it just kind of melds from your wall or from a shadow, that to me is terrifying. Because it's like, well, is it part of the house? Is it some evil that is imbued in the house? Or does it need a doorway to come through in order to be in the house? Yeah, so for me, that's definitely the more creepy of the options. Wow. So I don't know. Isn't nature beautiful? It depends on your definition of beauty. I think it is. I really do love nature, but I can't escape the realization that it's also brutal. Nature is brutal. Just, the way that's, animals tear each other apart, and creatures in the forest tear each other apart, and they subsist on each other. It's a brutal thing. I mean, as much as I'd love to believe that nature is this elevated state, I'm just reminded by, the fact that like male lions will go around and look for cubs and then kill them so that the female goes into season again and it can, spread its genes instead of another lion's genes. It's like, God, that is so brutal. And the way that, alligators will lay hidden and then just drag something into the deep. It's like, oh. So there's a, I mean, it's the balance of nature, and I'm not saying that it doesn't have its beauty. It certainly is. It's amazing. Nature is amazing, but it's also terrifying, that there are, there's people that get eaten by giant snakes in Asia. I mean, literally, they just don't get to, they're like walking to their village and they don't make it. And then suddenly they go out and looking and find a huge python bulging, and they harvest it, and they open it up and find the person that was trying to come to their village. And I'm thinking, oh God. And people that get dragged in by crocs and stuff like that. Even Disney. There was some family in Disney years ago, and I remember hearing this story and it just breaking my heart. They were by their hotel. There was a bunch of, man-made ponds out there. And they're by their hotel, and it's a wife and a husband. And they're like 3-year-old or maybe 5-year-old, but I thought it was a 3-year-old. And they're just kind of playing by the water, splashing and stuff. And no kidding, a gator comes up and gets that kid and takes it away. And I can't think of a more heart-wrenching, horrible thing to witness and to know that this happened to something that you would die for, a child that you would do anything to protect, and to be helpless watching as something did that. And it's like, oh, and that's a true story. These people, I don't know if they're from the U.S. or if they were from like Europe or something, like they just didn't consider that possibility. but they lost their child. So, yeah, the gator at Disney. Oh, what a horrible, horrible thing. And you don't have to be a parent to appreciate this, but especially being a parent and knowing how deeply and desperately I love my children and what I would do to protect them from anything. And to know that something like that could happen and you wouldn't be able to do anything. It's such a horrible thing and such a tragedy. So, yeah. So that's my feelings about nature. Yeah, I love nature. I truly do. I think it's amazing and beautiful and powerful. And it definitely recenters us. Being in nature is a healthy thing for us to do, just to center ourselves again with the world around us. But anytime you go into nature and you never know when, but something like that could happen. Just something might be waiting there. It could be a mountain lion, could be something, a bear that you just happen to get between it and its cubs, or something like that. And just suddenly it goes from a pleasant, forest jaunt to, fighting for your life or the lives of those you love. So, yeah, I love the Paranormal Portal jumper Brent is wearing. It's available. The link is in the description, and it's the Teespring link. Well, you know that, Aussie. Yeah. We call them hooded sweatshirts here, not jumpers, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. It does have a hoodie, like it's got a hood. So I could look like a monk. If I wanted to, maybe I can. Not sure with the headphones, but yeah. Can wear it up, or it's got those. You killed Kenny. Sorry. I like nature, but not when it bites. Yeah, I'm with you. It's beautiful. It's beautiful on TV, but even then, it's just hard to watch things die. Like I do love watching like documentaries on nature, but I just gotta kind of shut my eyes when like the lions are chasing the zebra or something. That's like, oh, I don't want to see this. Anyway, what do you do? T-Bone, can you see the chat? I don't know. Is T-Bone in here? I didn't see him come in. Sorry if I missed ya. If you're here, T-Bone, thanks for coming in. I'm just looking through the chat quick to see who's here. But I don't know. But somebody's summoning you, T-Bone. If you, yeah, he's here. Am I H-Res? No. T-Bone, I have been blacklisted. No, you're not blacklisted. You are. I don't mute anybody unless somebody's a true ass. Then of course I'll ban people. But generally I've only banned a handful of people in the 8 years I've done this show because, yeah, it's not a big problem. Brent, please tell T-Bone we all say hello. T-Bone, everybody's saying hi to you. They all see you, and I don't know why your chat's not working, but we did have a YouTube glitch. Deb says she sees you. My bed is summoning me. Well, thanks for coming in, Jed. Thanks for being a part of the show and being here with us. No, my name at the beginning? Oh, are you at the beginning of the show? Yeah, we had a glitch. We had a YouTube glitch, and it split my stream or rebooted it or something. I don't know what the hell's going on. So we're all here, but all right. I guess you can't see the chat. Maybe the chat's all backed up or weird from that glitch. But anyway, everybody's saying hi, T-Bone. So we all see you, brother. We're all here with you. You're here with us. But that's going to be the show. Wow. It's already almost 9. Time flies when you're in the portal, folks. Not as, actually it was faster on Monica's show last night. I was just so fast. 2.5 hours just went by like, boom. It was like, oh. It went so quick. All the toilet talk flushed the portal. You might be right, Elaine. I need to smudge before my slumbering. Oh, well, I hope you don't feel like you've picked up anything negative just being here on the show. But, truth be told, I do get emails from people sometimes like, yeah, I got a creepy thing going on in my house every time I watch your show. It's like, oh, I don't know why that is, but I guess it's by virtue of discussing this stuff, that we're creating. It's creating potentially the potential for that to happen. I think that energy follows intention is the big takeaway. Good night, Ohana. Much love. Thank you, Deb. Love ya, and I'm so glad to see you here, as always. I know Deb's often just listening, or sometimes she's chatting and listening. And tonight she was pretty active in the chat. So good to see you, Deb. We love you. And not at all ritualistic behaviors. Well, good. That's a good ritual. Actually, I think everybody should cleanse their homes regularly. Run through with some sage. I don't mean to suggest, and I do want everybody to know. Look, there's a common misnomer that people can get rid of evil spirits by running around with sage. Sage is not really a banishing tool, but it is good for just baselining the energy of a place. So as we live in places, as we stress or have arguments or the good, bad, the ugly that we just go through our emotional cycles, we leave an imprint on the space around us. And it's probably, I believe it's an exceptional idea to run through with some sage and, prayers, utilizing whatever your methodology is to just please cleanse this home and, take away any negative and dark energy and baseline it, kind of a reset. But I firmly believe in that. I feel blessed if I'm visited by the spirits. I like to keep a safe space for them. That's very cool, Jed. Very cool. I like the way you're looking at it. I got to look at my messages. I still haven't heard from Charles. So I don't know what time it's going on tomorrow. Maybe I'm not looking at the right thing. Yeah, he didn't answer yet. So tomorrow night there should not be a show. Should not be, unless something's come up and the investigation is not going to happen. What is sage? It's a lot of times it looks like this. Let me grab my sage. It looks like this. And you light it and you just walk through the house and it smolders and smokes. And it actually, honestly, kind of has a smell reminiscent of marijuana, but it's not at all like that. But it is used ritualistically by First Nations and many other practices to cleanse negative energy or to bring down energy, baseline it. So this is white sage. It's a bundle. So, and then I've got pieces of Palo Santo. This is really good for cleansing the dark stuff, getting it out of your space. Palo Santo is really good. And it smells amazing. I love Palo Santo. So anyway, that's about as much advice I'm going to give on that, because I do think that energetic cleansing or spiritual cleansing should resonate with your spirituality. So don't adopt other people's beliefs if it doesn't mean anything to you, because faith is very important. So manifesting giant boxing gloves. All right. If I sense dark energy, I burn rice. That's interesting. I've never heard of that, Jed. I'll have to look into that. Rosemary and thyme also. Yes, I've heard of those, but not rice. That's interesting. I'll have to look into that. But that's going to wrap up the show for tonight, everybody. Huge joint. Got it. It's my blunt, man. It's my blunt. But that's going to wrap it up for me. I hope you guys had a good time. Thank you all for hanging out. You guys rock. I appreciate the portal on days like today. Well, amen, brother. We appreciate you all the time. So thanks for coming by, Jaron. That means the world. And thank you all for being part of the journey. As always, if you're new, we'd love for you to subscribe and become part of the show. Hit the bell, ring all notifications. Then you'll know every time I do go live. Again, since Amy Creel says I burn rice accidentally. Yeah, that happens. Thank you, Phil. But you can put out water and rice to collect bad energy. Very cool, Deb. That's awesome. I want to say that I may end up impromptu streaming tomorrow if I get good reception. Last time I was there, it was really terrible reception, so I couldn't possibly have streamed, but maybe more towers have gone up since then. I haven't been there for a couple of years now, I guess, or a year and a half anyway. So maybe that's improved, but I'll try to stream from there or use their Wi-Fi at the bar if they have it. And I'll try to at least bring you on location with Charles and I as we're doing this. Tomorrow is going to be spent getting all my gear charged up and ready, and then we're just going to go hunt some ghosts. Not really. We're just going to go see if someone wants to talk to us and bring you back some great footage, hopefully. But that's tomorrow night. If that did fall through, I'll have a show as usual. So that's why I want you to ring the notifications. It'll let you know when we go live here on the portal. But anyway, Asian shaman burn rice for protection to banish dark spirits. Okay. I didn't know that. Is it cooked or uncooked? Probably cooked, right? I think it would take a lot to burn uncooked rice. Yeah. of course, Rachel. Of course. He may, I mean, he's certainly still on social media if you want to reach out to Don. He's always part of the family, and he's just been taking care of life, and it's taken his time and energy and his focus. So got to bless him for making the big call, Family comes first. So uncooked. Okay, thanks, Jed. All right, but that's it. That's all I got for you. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I will try to stream tomorrow if I can, but don't expect a regular show, but keep the option open. I haven't heard back from Charles, so I'm not sure if something might have come up for him and he can't make it, and I don't investigate alone. I'm not into that whole thing. I mean, I could, I guess, but I don't know. It just feels a lot heavier in a place when you're all by yourself. But anyway, that's it. I just got to say, I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice, take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. I think tonight we had a lot of laughs, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. It wasn't too dorky, but it's just me just being an idiot. So that's what you get on the show. It's just me and my sound hole, so never knows what's going to come out of it. But that's it. Have a great night. Until I talk to you again, take care. If I don't stream tomorrow, just know that we'll stream live on Wednesday again. So until then, love you, mean it, take care, and talk to you then. Good night, everybody.